Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. How does it feel as as we are just hours away uh, from the finale? It's just 48 hours more, or even less than that, from the final game of the season. I'm getting more nervous. I'm feeling a little bit more tense as we get closer and closer to that game. But Pep's press conference yesterday was really amazing. I thought this was something different from Pep, because whenever there have been must-win games in the past, it's not like Pep is in this situation in the first time, especially at City in the 2018-19 title race. I think that was a bit more difficult than this, because Liverpool were 7 points ahead of us in January and stuff like that. And we have seen Pep give press conferences then as well, but those press conferences were totally different. Whenever Pep wanted City to win, even before the Real Madrid game, even before that Liverpool game, Pep always gives out war cries when Pep wants City to win. Like for example, in January 2nd, 2019, in that historic 18-19 season when we won the league with a single point. You know what Pep said before that Liverpool game? He's in 2019, January the 2nd. He said that we have to win, guys, in the press conference. This is a must win game. We have to win, otherwise the title race is done. That is what he said then. So whenever Pep knows that his team has to go for it, he doesn't hide his feelings at all. He just makes them known openly in the media. I know some managers don't like to do it this way because they think they need to shield their players from it. But Pep realizes that the mentality of his players is so strong that he can give out a war cry right from the off in the press conference. So in regards to that, this press conference is so much different. Pep was so philosophical in this press conference, like he said. For example, it's just a football game. We'll try to take the consequences out of the game. He didn't let out a war cry and said that it's a must-win game. Pep said statements like, even if we win, what happens? For example, we win, we celebrate it for 2 days, 3 days. I mean, that's all. Again, you get back to doing the work pre-season and all. If we lose, what happens? Sun doesn't forget to rise the next morning, right? We'll feel bad for 1-2 days and that's all. It doesn't change lives. He made statements like that. So I was a bit confused about this press conference. Sumant is here. Sumant says, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Sumant. I hope you're doing well. How are you feeling ahead of this finale? It's just tomorrow, right? Liverpool. I think we are the only team who can now stop Liverpool from winning that quadruple. It's just so much pressure. But yesterday, Pep's press conference, if you hear it, it would seem as if he's so relaxed. He was so philosophical. It just impressed me so much. Let's go through some of the points he had to say about City. First thing is about Walker and Stones. He said that Walker and Stones had partial training on Thursday. There were reports coming that they're fit and all, and Pep didn't hide it. He said that the physios were incredible, and they just managed to get them ready in time. I think Pep didn't give any assurances saying that Walker will start, Stones will start, and things like that, because Pep knows he has to play. He wants to leave it as a surprise till the end for Aston Villa, because like we were discussing yesterday as well, if Walker plays, the planning of Aston Villa is completely different. If Stones plays, the planning is different. So Pep really wants to leave it till the end. I suspect Walker is playing. That's what I could see from the reaction of Pep Guardiola. Walker is playing, and they asked him, one of the journalists asked him to compare this with the 2018-19 title race, and Pep was telling the circumstances there were different, the personnel were different, and also I think what Pep meant there was, in that 2018-19 title race, we had the momentum, because you look back into the lead up to that title race, January 2nd, 2019. Pep was, City were 7 points behind Liverpool, right? So we literally had the momentum going into the final day. But here it's a bit different, because because we are what? We were, okay, 14 points ahead of Liverpool in February. They had 2 games in hand. So literally we were 8 points ahead of Liverpool. And then now we are just 1 point ahead of them. So I think it's not the same thing. That's what Pep meant. It's not the same thing as the 2018-19 title race. Uh, we have our mate who's a Madrid fan here. He says it's nothing less than a UCL final. I think, yes, people say it's just Aston Villa, but in a way we are playing Liverpool indirectly here. We are playing the pressure put on by Liverpool onto us. We are playing against ourselves, especially. That's what I would like to think of it. We are playing against all of those doubters who said we lack personality, we lack character, against twats like Patrice Evra and stuff who were saying that Pep's teams don't have personality, they can't stand up to situations. We are playing against all of it. In a way, we are playing against the entire world. Pep literally said this: the media supports Liverpool. And that's so much true. They asked him in the press conference as well, what did you exactly mean when you said that the media supports Liverpool and stuff? Pep just clarified it. He said that it's the same in Spain, it's the same in Germany. The media always goes behind the elites. They want to support the elites. It's the same with Real Madrid, the same with Bayern Munich, Barcelona, here Liverpool, Manchester United. The media always tends to go with the clubs that have the history, and not the boys who wants to break into that elite ceiling, not the people who want to challenge the status quo. So Pep really went in on the media here. He said, yes, you guys support historical clubs, yes, you guys are biased towards that, towards the elite. And also, Pep was asked about the comparisons with Roberto Mancini in the 2011-12 game. This is something interesting. I didn't realize this, because they said that this is the first time that Pep is playing a final day game with the chance of City having to secure a title in front of his home crowd. When we won against, in the 2018-19 season, it was at Brighton, it was away. So this is the first time we have the chance to win a title on the final day in front of the home crowd. So Pep was asked, do you expect the game to be like that QPR one, that tension and stuff? How do you handle this? How do you make the players calmer in this sort of a pressure game, in this sort of situation? So Pep said something here. This is what I meant when I said Pep said something philosophical. He said, win or losing doesn't change lives. Sun rises again, whatever the result is. We win, we lose, and we go on with our lives. He said football is a game where there are aspects you cannot control. He was referring to the Madrid game here. He was telling, we will go there to give our best. We will never give up till the final second. If it happens, if it happens. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world for us. We'll go on next season again. That's what we can do. The best thing you can do in your lives is, can give your best and then sleep well. You won't sleep well when you don't give your best. But football, there are a lot of luck and other aspects involved where you can't absolutely control everything. That's what Pep said. Aston Villa, Swami says here, Aston Villa is not an ABC team to play like. It's way too great, and Aston Villa do have quality players. They know how to fight. But please ruin Liverpool's party. The run of quadruple, it will help us. You know the reasons why Pep was talking like this in the press conference is that Real Madrid game has really got into the mentality. I mean, you can't deny it. There will be scars from that Real Madrid game. So Pep can't go in front of the media and tell this is a do or die game for us, because he absolutely knows that there will be that little sense of doubt still in the back of players' mind. So he needs to be a bit philosophical. He needs to, basically what Pep needs to do here is, this is why Pep is so that good man manager. What Pep is doing here is removing the consequence of the result out of it. What are we generally afraid of in life? Not just football. Let us see regular life. So you're afraid of the consequence of an event, right? We do it. What if it doesn't work out well? What if Liverpool wins the quadruple? What if they are the greatest team, even though we have done so much throughout the season? All of these consequences, I think this is where the pressure comes from, and Pep absolutely wants to remove this out of the game. Suman says, who will play in midfield and attack for City? Uh, we'll do a predicted lineup as well. I thought I'll do it later in the day, but since you're asking the question, I do think generally in these sort of games when Pep really wants to win, Pep will play Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, Pep will surely play Bernardo Silva in the midfield. I mean, Rodri is holding, but then I have a little doubt here. I wanted to ask you as well, you lot as well. Will Pep release Kevin De Bruyne in this game? When I say release, will Pep play Kevin De Bruyne as a false nine up front instead of a striker? I think because in the very best games, Pep plays Rodri, Bernardo, and Gundogan in the midfield. That is the best midfield for the balance, I think. And Pep plays Kevin De Bruyne up front. We have seen against West Ham. First half we struggled, even to create chances we struggled, and the second half something changed. What changed is Kevin De Bruyne was just playing off his. He was just playing. He's almost playing as second striker, Kevin De Bruyne. That and suddenly changed against Wolves, for example. Kevin De Bruyne was playing that little bit forward, and suddenly you had control and everything. So I really want Pep to take that risk, drop Gabriel Jesus and play Kevin De Bruyne up front, almost as a striker, and play Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and Rodri in the midfield. That would mean that you'll have more control in the midfield. You literally have three defensive-minded midfielders in the midfield, in Gundogan, Rodri, and Bernardo Silva. I mean, and also another thing, just responding to Swami's comment here, he said Aston Villa have a lot of quality. I know, Swami, but the thing is, Aston Villa played in midweek as well with pretty much the first team. So do you think Aston Villa has that squad to play 3 matches in 6 days? They played on Saturday, if I'm not wrong. Saturday, Thursday, and again on a Sunday. That's a major factor that you'll need to take into consideration here for when you're playing against Aston Villa in this match. I think will they be able to cope with the intensity of City? Because when they were playing against Liverpool, I saw that Aston Villa for the first half competed very well with Liverpool. It was 1-1, and then in the second half they suddenly dropped off. So that is also something which we'll have to take into account, which people are generally not talking about. Suman says Mahrez, KDB, Foden. Exactly, I think that is the front three which Pep should go with. But Suman, there's a little bit of a surprise here. KDB will play up front, Foden will play, but I don't think Mahrez will. I mean, it's so difficult because Jack Grealish is there, right? Jack Grealish is in such imperious form. We have to remember Jack Grealish single-handedly got us a point against West Ham. So how will you include Jack Grealish in that front three? He has to be there. This is difficult. Would you play Foden on the right then? Because you can't leave out Foden. Mahrez is in great goal scoring form. This is so tough. This is so tough, mate. If I was in Pep Guardiola's shoes, I would maybe drop Mahrez and play Grealish on the left, KDB center, and Foden on the right. I think that's what I would do maybe. But it's tough. But Sumant, it's surprising you said that you will not play Grealish. That's really surprising. Let me know in the comments below. Would you guys not play Grealish? Because there is the narrative of him playing against Aston Villa, knowing Aston Villa a little bit more because he was the best player out there and stuff like that. So let's get back to Pep's press conference. Pep was asked another question. He was asked, why is the Premier League title more satisfying than the Champions League and other cups? Because Pep has always been saying Premier League is more important to me. Premier League is more important to me. But the media was saying that you're almost a failure without the Champions League and stuff like that. So Pep was asked it. So what Pep said was, again, it was very interesting, and his point of view which he put out throughout the season. He said, in the Premier League you have to play through those tough months in the winter, November, December, January, especially in December and November ending, where games are just thrown at you. You have to go through those bad moments. The bad moments in the Premier League can stretch for weeks, 2 weeks. For example, Liverpool had a very bad December. City almost had a very bad August, right? So how do you get up from all of those things? How do you suffer? The suffering is elongated in the Premier League. The moments you have to suffer are much, much more. There are lots of difficult situations, and the pressure to deal with all of these difficult situations, the consistency that you have to maintain throughout, especially with a team like Liverpool chasing you, all of these things make the Premier League title much, much more difficult to obtain than the Champions League. Pep literally said, in the Champions League, you win 8 games and you win the title. But in the Premier League, 38 games every 3 days. Every 3 days you have to be there. How do you motivate the players? How do you bring the best out of them? How do you keep everyone happy? How do you manage the squad? Real Madrid wasn't. He didn't say it, but I thought he had Real Madrid at the back of his mind. 45 seconds, they go on to the next round, and you dominate for 185 minutes. That is the difference between the Champions League and all of the cup competitions in the Premier League. And also he was asked about Fernandinho, whether Fernandinho will get a lot of minutes in this game, since it's going to be his last game. First of all, I do think Fernandinho, I dread thinking of this. This gives me nightmares. But then I think that Fernandinho might start at centre back actually. A lot of people are not realizing this. We do not know whether John Stones will really start, or we do not know any of the situation regarding that. So unlike many people are thinking, Fernandinho might actually start at centre back. So Pep said about Fernandinho that he has experienced good moments with him, but one important thing he said was Fernandinho has helped him, especially when he came at first, to understand the culture of the club. And also he said that he sees Fernandinho maybe as a future manager and things like that. And pressure with Liverpool chasing was another obvious question, and Pep was it. I mean, it was obviously said that it's not unexpected. We have to fight till the end and things like that. And another thing about Gundogan's future. Gundogan's future was interesting because a lot of reports were coming that Gundogan is leaving. The club has told Gundogan to find a new club next summer. I mean, I was pretty sure seeing those reports that City will never tell that to Gundogan. Gundogan has been the first player Pep has signed, and City are not a club where they'll say you just get out of the club because your contract is over. No. City are not someone to treat any of the players with such disrespect. So Pep was saying that I don't know where this news of Gundogan leaving is coming from. And a lot of news, Gundogan himself had clarified on his Twitter page, I think yesterday, day before, that he doesn't want to leave, and the club is also negotiating. And also I think Pep would love to keep Gundogan for the next seasons. And also another thing is Gundogan is doing his coaching badges. So where best will he get the chance to pick someone's brains than at City? So Pep Guardiola, Gundogan could just be like Fernandinho, learning this coaching management stuff from Pep, being on the bench and coming on whenever needed in certain moments in big games, just like Fernandinho did this season. And at the end, Pep ended at the press conference with this statement. This is what really stuck me. It almost inspired me thinking about this game. He said, it's just a football game. Try to take the consequences out and try to focus on doing the little things right in the game. Try to enjoy the moments. This is a day which might never come back again in our lives. So try to enjoy the moments and never give up until the end. Never give up until the last second, until the final whistle is blown. Enjoy each little thing and do not worry about the consequences. These are the exact words that he said to end his press conference. And I mean, just hearing these words, I got motivated. I was feeling tense thinking about the game, and then I was like, wow, superb. People say good managers, they're very good technically, tactically and all, but they're very good in man management skills. They're very good in bringing the players up when they're stuck down. This is a huge pressure game with the echoes of that Madrid debacle reverberating throughout City. But look at what Pep has done. He has taken the consequences out, he has taken the result out, put everything on himself, and he has liberated the players. this press conference it might not be given all the credit, but this could be the one that could really drive our players, motivate us towards doing really well in this game, taking the pressure of all of us. Anyway, I'll be doing another video whereby we'll be discussing the predicted lineup here. That will be interesting because there are 2-3 spots like Sumant was mentioning who will play in the midfield. In the attack, Sumant had an interesting thing: Mahrez, KDB, Foden, but I would slightly maybe differ with him. In the defense, I would maybe slightly differ with him. So it's really going to be interesting how the predicted lineup goes. But another thing is Michael Oliver has been appointed the referee for this match. Most of the City fans like Michael Oliver. That's what I know. So anyway, guys, thank you all for the comments, and again, see you all and take care. I'll again come back to you tonight with the predicted lineup video as well. Until then, take care.